string. How to define a string? Have you used strings in C or C++? String is sequence of characters. What are different string operations you are familiar with?
String length, string concatenation.
One by one. String name, then concatenation,
String copy.
copy,
String
Compare.
reverse.
reverse.
Yes.
Yes, string reverse.
Compare, ma'am.
Check whether string is palindrome. Then convert lowercase to uppercase, uppercase to lowercase. Get a character at particular location. We call it as cat add function and many more. Right? So in Java, strings are implemented as inbuilt class. In java.lang package, we have a string class with all these operations are inbuilt. So like any other object, in previous session we have seen about stack class and set class. So similarly, string class is inbuilt, which is available in java.lang package, ready to use. So you can create object of string class and call these methods immediately. So string is most commonly used class in Java class library. Whatever the string you create, whatever you write in double quotes, it's considered as object of string class. Even string constants are actually string objects. So what if you write system.out.println and in double quotes the message, this message is also an object of string class. So object of type strings are immutable, means you are not able to modify it or alter any sequence of it. If you change any character, Java allocates new object to it. Once a string object is created, its contents cannot be altered. So if you need to change a string, you can always create a new one which contains the modification, but original string will remain as it is. So Java defines peer classes of string, which is called string buffer and string builder. We are going to see those classes too. And these two classes are mutable classes, means these two classes allows alteration of a string. So you can modify the current object with new string or modified string. So how to create a string? It's very simple. Just write string and the name of your string equal to, and in double quotes you can write a string. To display a string, system.out.println and only the object name, my string. So it will display the output. Let me show you. So here I have created a string str1, which is hello, str2, which is comments, and I have created a third string str3. For this, I have passed object of str1. So either you can use new keyword, string str1 is equal to new string, in bracket you can pass this, or you can directly create it without a new keyword. And here this is called copy constructor. You are passing another object to create this new string. And this is how I am displaying these strings. System.out.println string 1 is str1, str2 and str3. So if I run this code, the output is hello comments, and I have not created str3, it is just a copy of str1. So str1 has hello, so it will also print hello. str3 and str1 are pointing to the same object. Okay, you have to create a string. This is how you can create a string and display a string. The next operation is concatenation. How to concatenate two strings. In Java, only you can use a plus operator, no need to call any concat function like strcat. Here we can just use plus operator to concatenate the strings. Here, for example, string my string is equal to I plus like plus Java. It will print I like Java. Or in this case, in our example, if I print system.out.println concatenated string, str1 plus str2. Actually, no need of bracket, but just to separate out this plus and this plus, I am adding a bracket. So it will print hello comments as one string. So string object 1 first string, object 2 is second string, object 3 is strOb1 plus then and plus strOb2. So strOb1 is first string, then and will be added here and second string. And if you print, it will print first string, second string and first string and second string like this. So instead of creating str3 with str1 plus, here we'll give and space plus str3, sorry 2. And I'll just comment this part. So str3 is hello and comments. So and will get added or concatenated in between str1 and str2. And these three strings will get concatenated. And you'll get one complete string which is called str3. So plus operator is used for concatenation. So strings are objects, like we have seen arrays are objects in Java. Same thing, strings are objects. So every string is instance of Java's built-in string class. The strings are objects. So like any object, a string can be created using new keyword like this. String str1 is equal to new string hello dear. However, an extra support, Java allows string object to be created without using new. So you can just assign it, this is assignment operator, and with a string constant, that is a string in double quotes, the object will get created automatically without using new. This feature or this support is given only for string class. So Java's strings in Java are immutable. Once they created, they cannot be altered. Hence, any alteration will lead to the creation of new object. So if you create an object str1 hello and str2 hello, in this case, you are expecting that separate memory should be allocated for str1 and str2. Here I have not used new keyword, but we can assume that two different objects are created with a string hello in it, str1 and str2. But in fact, in old compilers, these are nothing but the lies of each other. If you are passing the same string, instead of creating a new object, it will create a new reference to the previously created object. So str2 will point where str1 is pointing. So in this case, these are nothing. These are not two different objects. This is only one object with two different names. So it's better to use new keyword always. Whenever you create a string, use new keyword. Otherwise, sometimes it will give you a problem. If you change string 1, it automatically affect a string 2 because you haven't used new keyword while creating the strings and you pass the common string. So Java compiler assumes that these are not two different objects. This is only two different names given to the same object. So it will create such confusion or ambiguity. So in Java, if you type this code, first string, second string, and str3 you have created with first object. How to check length of a string with length function. So length of a string you can check with a length function. And I'll just say str1. Length of str1 is like any other, how we call a function of any class, object name, that is str1 dot, and this function length. Note that it's a function, so all characters must be small case characters. So if you print length, so length of str1 is 5, HELLOW, it's 5. So length function is used to find out length of a string. This is again inbuilt function, inbuilt to a string class. And you can call this function with string object. str1.length, it will give you length of this string. If you call str2.length, it will give length of comments. Next function is char at. If you have to check a particular character at a particular location. For example, in this case, I want what is the character at this location. So 0, locations will start from 0, 1, 2, and 3. I want character at third position. Function name is char at. In str2, suppose. You can perform these operations either on str1 or str2. We have created these objects. You can create any object of your choice. Char at. Note that A is capital, and here we have to pass a location. Bracket complete, semicolon. Third position means it will start 0, 1, 2, and 3. So third position will be small m. If you change the position instead of third, fourth, it will print I. So this character will be now small I. Next operation is check the equality. We have to check whether these two strings are equal. So that you can do with equals. There is a program, find out whether these two strings are equal or not. Equality, first we'll check whether equality of str1 and str2. To check whether two strings are equal or not, there is a function equals, and to call this function we need one object. So str1 dot equals str2. So it will print true or false whether these two strings are equal. If these are equal, it will print true, otherwise it will print false. So it's printing false because str1 is hello, str2 is comments. If you want to check equality of str1 and str3, this is the object who is calling equals function, and this object we are passing to check whether this is equal to str1 or not. Yes, it is printing true. True for str1 and 3, because here str1 is hello, str3 is also hello. So to check equality, there are three options we have. One is compare to ignoring a case, equals to ignoring a case. So there are various options to check equality of two strings. So instead of equals, if I print compare to, but compare to function will not return true or false. It will give you an integer value. Compare to str2. It will compare str1 with str2, and it will return the difference between ASCII values of these characters. If this difference is equal to 0, that means these two strings are equal. So here the difference is 5. 5 is not the length, it is a difference of ASCII values. So if this difference is equal to 0, for example, instead of 2, if I print here 3. So for in case of str1 and str3, this difference will be 0. So if compare to return 0, that means these two strings are equal. So to check equality, either you can use equals function or compare to function. There is a function called compare to ignore a case. Ignore a case means you can compare capital as well as small case. You didn't want to check the case, but only the spelling or characters should match. For example, capital A and D and small a and D should return true. In that case, you can use compare to ignore case command. So try these commands, different commands to check equality of strings. So we have seen comparison. Now when we talk about adding something into the string, deleting something from a string, reverse a string, check whether it is palindrome, we want to alter uh, the current characters, which is not possible with string class. So we need string buffer class or string builder class, which are similar to string class available in java.lang package. So you can construct a string from string buffer by using a constructor. So if you want to use string buffer object to create a string, so for string object, you can pass string buffer object. Similarly, you can create a string builder, string using a string builder object. So this is again a demo. Here we have creating a string, hello everyone. This is to display a string println statement. How to check a string length, length command, length function. Then to create a new string, copy a string, you can create a string str2 is equal to new string, and you can pass this string. So it will create a new object with this string. So this is called copy operation, how to create copy of a string. Concat function is also there, concat, but you can use plus operator for concatenation. You can directly use plus operator or you can use concat function. As I told you, there is a function called compare to ignore case. Note that this is in a sentential form. Every next first character of each word should be capitalized. Compare to ignore case. So this is a reverse function. A reverse will call come and into string 2, and you'll check whether original string is equal to reverse string, and then you can compare those strings. Compare to returns difference between ASCII values. If this difference is 0, you can say that this string is palindrome. Otherwise, entered string is not palindrome. So let's see how this reverse function works. So suppose instead of comments, this is say madam, and compare. We'll check str3 is equal to str1 dot reverse. Let me check the reverse function is working with string object. It is there with string buffer object. No, reverse function is not available for string object. So I have to create string buffer. String buffer object sb1 is equal to new string buffer, and here I'm passing str1. So you can create string buffer with string or string with string buffer. Just pass that particular string to it, and then sb1 dot reverse. Okay, this should be also string buffer. Okay, if you do reverse, a string buffer will be revise string. Reverse string. Yes, a small case. So this is a reverse string. When we reverse it, it will reverse the original string. So we need to copy original string somewhere, and then we need to compare these two strings. Or now we have a string buffer object. You can convert that string buffer object to string object. Or you can just compare it with toString function. Here, if original string is str1 is equal to sb1 dot toString. ToString function will convert this to string object, and then it will compare it. Instead of equal to, we can use equals, or compare to ignore case. Compare to ignore case. What we have done, we have created a string buffer object, we reversed it, and we want to compare this object with our original value. If these values are same, original string and reverse string, then we can say that this is palindrome. Otherwise, the strings are not palindrome. So to compare, we can use compare to ignore case function, or just compare to if your cases are same. And sb1 dot toString will convert string buffer object to string, because we can compare only two strings or two string buffers strings. If we cannot convert string with string buffer, so either you need to convert str1 to string buffer or string buffer to string. That's why toString function is used. And here, if this is equal to 0, then you have to print strings are equal, or string is palindrome. Palindrome string means whether you read it from left to right or right to left, you should get the same string. That is called string palindrome. Else, string is not palindrome. So this is not a palindrome string. And if instead of str1, if you pass str2, that is madam, create a string buffer object. So reverse string is madam, and string is not, it is showing string is not palindrome. Wait a minute. I'm comparing it with str1. I have to compare it with str2. So now it is showing string is palindrome. So we have seen how to create a string object, how to display a string object using just system.out.println. To concatenate two strings, we can use plus operator or we can use concat function. str1 dot concat and pass another string object. So it will concatenate str1 plus str2. Length function is used to find out length. Note that you need to give this opening and closing bracket. Char function will return character at particular position. Starting position is 0. Equals function is used to compare two strings. Comparative function is also used to compare two strings. Difference between equals and compares is equal returns you the Boolean value, that is true or false. Compare to returns you the difference between ASCII values of these characters. And if compared to returns you 0, that means these two strings are equal. To reverse a string, reverse operation is not defined for string class. It is defined only for string buffer and string builder class. That's why we have created object of string buffer class, and we called reverse function. And to check palindrome, we have to compare this string sb1 with str2 or with our original string. And to do that, either we can use compare to ignore case or equals function or compare to function. But note that we have to compare two string that should be from equal class, same class, either from string class or string buffer class. Here sb1 is string buffer object, str2 is string object. That's why we need a toString function which will convert string buffer to string, and then we can use compare to function. And if it returns 0, that means string is palindrome, otherwise string is not palindrome. Now there is a function called substring. So string objects are represented as sequence of characters which are indexed from 0. So suppose this is a string greeting, hello world. A common operation that we always perform on a string is extracting a substring from a given string. So there are two variations or overloaded substring operation in string class: substring with start and substring with start and end. If user has given only start index, that means it will automatically take end of the string as end index. So returns the substring from start to the end of the string. For example, here in case of greetings, this string hello world, if you give input 7, so it will call a substring function which will take only one parameter or argument. So 7 is the start index and end of the string is end index. So if you count, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Note that comma is 5, space is 6, and 7th location is W. So it will start from W and end of the string, that is world. So it will display hello world, these 5 characters. And if you give start index and end index, then it will include start index but exclude end index. So it will display characters from 0, 1, 2, and 3, not the fourth one. It will not include the character at the end. For example, 0 to 4, 0th is H. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. So it will just display HELL. If you give start index 7, end index 12, so 7 is this world W and 12 is end, that is D. So it will display the complete character world. We can check in our example substring function. substring at 2 to 5, suppose. str1 dot substring if it is a function, function should start with small case substring, and if I just pass 2, it will in this case 0 1 2, so it will print LLO. It will start from 2 and end with end of the string. So it will print LLO. And if you give here from 1 to say 4, what is length of the string is 5. So we can go up to 4. So what it will print? Okay, it had just printed 0 because I have just given one index, 4. So fourth one is 0, that's why it has printed 0. If I want to 1 to 4, then here I have to give two indices, 1 comma 4, start index and end index. So it will just delete H, there won't be any H, then 1 is E, L, L, and it won't include fourth one. It won't include 0, O. So in case of hello, it has printed H, E, L, L, O, 2 to 4, 1 to 4. So either you can give one parameter or two parameter. It will extract that particular string from substring from a complete string. So in this case, if you try this, string 1 is equal to example, string 2 is equal to new string example, and string 3 is example. Okay, I'm starting a camera right now. So when you create a string without using new keyword, for example, string 1 is, S1 is example. So it will create an object of a type string whose name is S1 and it will enter a string example in it. So new object is created S1 with string example. Then we are creating another object S2 with example. Here we have used new keyword. Yes, string S2 is equal to new example. So another string gets created with new memory location. Now we are creating a string S3 with double quotes example. So in this case, compiler thinks that this is the same object which is already created. So this is not a new object, it is just a name given to this object. So it won't allocate a separate memory for S3. It will just point to the previously created object. This is the difference between just equal to and new keyword. We are creating string S2 is equal to new example. Even if we are passing the same variable, number of characters or sequence of character is exactly same, but here we have used new keyword, that's why new object is created. Here we have not used new keyword, we have just assigned the string, so it will point to the previously created string. And if you try S1 equal to S2, this equal to operator will compare memory location of S1 and memory location of S2, that is address. So in this case, S1 and S2 are stored on two different memory locations. Suppose this is at XX10, this is at XX20. So this will return false. And if you compare S1 equal to S3, Here S1 and S3 are pointing to same memory location, so it will return true. So keep a practice whenever you create a string, always try to use new keyword. It looks simple to use, but it may create such ambiguities in future. Is it clear? So whenever you use new keyword, new memory location gets assigned. Here instead of S3, if you create S3 is equal to, instead of example, if you give any other string, say example. So it will not assign it to the same object, it will create a new object with new memory location. But as we are passing the same string, compiler thinks that this object is already there. So this is not a new object, it is just a name given to the previously existing object. That's why it will create an alias. Alias means name given to the same memory location. Okay. So now if you read this slide, it will be easy for you. The difference between three statements here is that S1 and S3 are pointing to same memory location. That is a string pool. S2 is pointing to the memory location on a heap. Means new memory is allocated to S3. So whenever we use new operator, it creates a memory location on a heap. Heap is one type of memory. Excuse me. There are three types of memories. When we write a program, we are using a stack memory. All the codes and compile time variables are stored in static memory. And whenever runtime we allocate memory, it is allocated from heap memory. So there are three types of memories: static, stack, and heap. Out of that, static memory and heap memory is called dynamic memory. And static memory is called compile time memory. That you'll learn in second year or third year. But for time being, as whenever we use new keyword, we are assigning memory at runtime. That's why it gets allocated from a heap memory. So this heap memory is called for runtime memory allocation. Now, what is a string buffer? We have used string buffer for reverse string operation, right? So string buffer and string builder, these are similar classes as that of a string class. You can create a string using string buffer or string builder. You can manipulate all operations are similar. Those are available with the string. Same operations are available for a string buffer class. But the problem or the difference between string buffer and string is immutable, but string buffer is mutable. String buffer is synchronized and allow us to mutate the string. So you can change the characters, number of characters, sequence of characters from a string in case of string buffer. And it is synchronized. Synchronized means Java, as you know, it is multi-threaded language. It can be multiple threads or multiple parallel executions are possible at the same time. So to make this transaction synchronous, string buffer is mainly used for synchronous transactions. String buffer has many utility methods to manipulate the string, and it is mainly useful in multi-threaded environment. So multiple users at a time trying to manipulate the string, so it can be synchronized with the help of string buffer. But it has always a locking overhead. Locking overhead means one is trying to add a character to a string, another thread is trying to delete a character from a string, and third thread may be trying to display a character. So there should be some sequence. So who will add first, who will delete, and who will display. So this is done with the help of locks. That is, locking overhead is there in case of string buffer. String buffer, this is the example, how to create object of a string buffer similar to string. This is the name of class, string buffer. In my case, I have used SB. Here it is buffer is equal to new string buffer hi. And you can add, say, buffer.append by, and if you print, it will print hi by. So it will add or concatenate this string to the previous string, and your original string will be changed. String builder is similar to string buffer class. Again, string builder is also mutable, which is alike or not similar to string. Difference between string and string builder is string is immutable, string builder is mutable. And what is the difference between string builder and string buffer? String buffer is used for synchronization. It is used in multi-threaded environment and the overhead of locking. But string builder class is not synchronized. So it is used for single threaded environment like there are assignments. So overhead is less than string buffer. So if you want to manipulate the strings instead of string buffer, you can go with string builder. Any queries about string? String operations are clear?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes?
Can you please show one example of string builder class?
Okay. So it is similar to string class. Here we can create object of string builder. String builder is equal to new string builder. And you can pass a string or you can pass an object of a string. Say and I can create another object. And we can use system.out.println to print this SB2. String builder. So this is just to accept and display string builder. It is displaying college. If I want to add something, here is B2 dot, if I say concat, and I have added some string, say college, and now I am printing SB2. So it will print college Cummings. Okay. Whenever we put any string like this, it will be considered as string object. I cannot concatenate string object with string builder. I need this string builder object here. I'll just add SB2 to SB2. It will print college twice. It has append function. Instead of concat, it has append function, string builder class. So no need to return it, just sb2 dot append sb2, and if you print sb2, it will print college. Or you need another object of string builder class. The way we create string buffer, string builder, or string class is the same thing. But the problem is we cannot use these methods across these objects. Either you go with all string objects, all string buffer objects, or all string builder objects. If you try to use the method with one string object, one string builder object, Java will not allow you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes?
Ma'am, in string buffer and string builder classes, can we use system.in to accept values from the user?
Yes, yes, we can use it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You have to accept value in a string, and then while creating object, you have to pass that string.
Ma'am, then what's the difference between string builder and string buffer from this example if we find out?
For our normal examples, the applications that we are using, string, string builder, string buffer are same. Only the difference is even if you try to append here two strings, here I have used plus concatenate. Right. Suppose I have copied this here, concat. str1 dot concat str2. And if I print str1, what it will print? Note that str1 is string and str2 is also string. So what will be the output of concatenation? Will the original string will change or not? So concatenation is, it is just printing hello. str1 is not changed. This concatenation has created one more string. We didn't have the object defined, so it is undefined object on a string heap. But here, when I use sb2 dot append sb2 and print this value, this is modified value, new value. I'm getting college. This is the difference. It explains you string is immutable, but string builder or string buffer is mutable. The difference between string builder and string buffer you can get only in when you use multi-threaded environment. String builder class has more functions which allows you to lock and unlock. Means when one method is manipulating that string, another method has to wait. So that current method should add or delete some characters from the string. Both the methods at a time should not operate on the same string. That's why we need that locking system. So that is called locking overhead, which is available in string buffer class. Last part remaining from unit number 3 is Java collection framework that we'll take in the next lecture. If you have any queries related to string, you can ask. Password is string. S is capital.